Ladies and gentlemen, if you've been scrolling through Twitter or Reddit lately, you've probably seen the sensational headlines, Bitcoin mining to be banned in the US by year's end, or federal shutdown of all crypto farms imminent. But how much of this hullabaloo is real policy, and how much is clickbait designed to spark panic? In this video, I'm breaking down the full story, from the rumor's murky origins to the actual legislative let's cut through the noise and separate fact from fiction. The persistent buzz about a nationwide mining ban actually started when a handful of state legislators introduced narrowly tailored measures, like New York's temporary moratorium on behind-the-meter operations back in 2022, aimed only at new permits for fossil fuel-powered rigs. Fast forward to mid-2025, and social media posts began conflating these isolated moratoria with federal action. Even mainstream outlets picked up on local debates, such as North Tonawanda's 2024 restriction on noisy warehouse farms, and ran headlines implying sweeping national consequences. As a result, influencers amplified partial truths, sowing confusion. Fans sharing clips of state-level hearings as if they were C-SPAN broadcasts of an imminent federal ban. Understanding that the rumor virus spread from state to national forums is crucial, not because the claim has substance, but because misinterpretation makes for sensational viewing and, frankly, skyrockets engagement metrics. Yes, some US jurisdictions have fingered crypto mining as an environmental or nuisance concern, but each moved with different scopes and rationales. In New York, lawmakers passed a 2-year pause on new fossil fuel-based rigs to assess emissions data. This moratorium expired in November 2024 and never restricted existing operations. In contrast, smaller municipalities such as Sheridan, Wyoming, or North Tonawanda, New York, enacted local bans primarily to address noise complaints or infrastructure strain, not to curb blockchain technology outright. These isolated policies reflect genuine local challenges, like overloaded transformers or the hum of ASIC fans drilling through the night. But they do not constitute a coordinated federal effort. If you're narrating to an audience of gamers, emphasize this patchwork nature. It's like saying every single PC gamer in California must uninstall Steam because a handful of college dorms complained about power surges. It simply isn't happening nationwide. On the national stage, the story looks very different. In July 2025, Congress convened a landmark Crypto Week, shepherding through bills that would define stablecoin legal frameworks, mandate transparent disclosures, and restrict anything resembling a central bank digital currency without congressional approval. This series of votes underscored one clear message. Lawmakers want to bring crypto into the regulated financial fold, not drive it underground. The Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, and the Iowa Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, have sharpened their enforcement focus, but their target is unregistered securities or illegal market manipulation, not mining operations per se. In fact, the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act of 2021 already set energy reporting requirements for miners, reflecting a preference for oversight rather than eradication. For your voiceover, narrate confidently that Washington's appetite is for harnessing innovation, not smothering it. Environmental critics rightly question Bitcoin's carbon footprint. Proof-of-work mining can draw as much electricity as a mid-sized city. However, painting all mining as an ecological scourge ignores ongoing industry shifts. Major mining pools have pledged to migrate toward 100% renewable or low-carbon energy sources. Texas's wind farms and the Pacific Northwest's hydroelectric regions have become crypto hotspots precisely because they offer surplus green power. Innovative approaches, such as demand response agreements, allow miners to throttle down operations during peak grid demand, providing utilities with a flexible load that can stabilize voltage and frequency. Moreover, proposals for carbon credits tied to verified renewable mining offer a path to net zero emissions. When you record your narration, stress that the environmental argument isn't black and white, but a nuanced debate where technology and policy can converge to mitigate ecological harm. Recall China's 2021 edict that shuttered domestic Bitcoin mining. In mere months, global hash rate plunged by over 50%, only to rebound as miners relocated to the US, Kazakhstan, and Canada. Far from killing Bitcoin, The ban simply redistributed mining power, inadvertently boosting the network's decentralization and resilience. Europe flirted with tighter regulations in early 2025, but no EU member solved its energy crunch by outlawing miners. Instead, many offered green power incentives to attract sustainable operations. These international case studies reveal a common theme. Bans rarely eliminate activity. They just push it to less regulated corners, undercutting tax revenue and forfeiting opportunities for oversight. As you guide your viewers through this section, use a tone of cautionary insight. Heavy-handed prohibition tends to backfire, whereas thoughtful regulation can channel innovation toward public good. Given the political dynamics in Washington, the notion of a blanket mining ban strains credulity. Crypto industry lobbying has intensified, with newly formed PACs and grassroots coalitions advocating for mining-friendly policies in energy-rich states. Federal regulators are also conscious of the strategic importance of blockchain resilience, particularly for national security and financial stability. The Department of Energy's own 2023 report framed mining as a potential partner in grid modernization, estimating that integrated operations could save utilities hundreds of millions annually. And from a legal standpoint, any sweeping ban would face formidable challenges under the Commerce Clause and property rights jurisprudence. Miners own their hardware, their contracts, and their facilities. If you're leaning into your gameplay backdrop, imagine overlaying screenshots of congressional hearings and DOE studies, while your voiceover dismantles the ban narrative piece by piece. So, what should your American audience do with this information? First, don't panic sell or shut off your rigs based on viral tweets. Second, if you're a miner, stay informed through the Federal Register and your state's Public Utility Commission bulletins. Third, engage in local discussions. Join energy advisory boards or town hall meetings to ensure your operations remain transparent and community-minded. And finally, if you're a viewer curious about the future of energy and finance, recognize that Bitcoin mining sits at the crossroads of technology, policy, and economics. It's neither a monolithic villain nor an unalloyed hero, but a rapidly evolving experiment in decentralized systems. In closing, the spectral dread of a US Bitcoin mining ban is largely a phantom, conjured by partial truths and sensationalized headlines. Rather than banishment, what lies ahead is regulatory integration, rules that seek to balance innovation with environmental stewardship and consumer protection. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that like button, subscribe for more myth-busting crypto content, and ring the bell so you never miss a beat. Drop your questions or comments below. What do you think is the biggest misconception about Bitcoin mining? I'll be reading and responding throughout the week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on the channel.